Hello.
Hi, Jenna.
Finally. How
I
are you doing?
apologize. I apologize for being late. I'm good. I just got back from work, drove as fast as I could here, and I'm here now, so I'm
Yeah,
happy.
that's awesome. Great to see you. Well, let's kick it off. I mean, I have a few questions for you, but let's just let it flow. You got a drink because I'm drinking Bush Light of all
I
things.
I got a truly.
Hey,
Hey. Yeah.
that's awesome. That's awesome. So let's start it off. So let's go back to basics. So why did you join and why the Marine Corps? I mean, you must be crazy.
A little bit, slightly. I knew ever since as a kid. I remember like in third grade when they would ask some students to announce what they want to be in the future. For the morning announcements, and I remember one time I was like, I want to be a U.S. soldier, but at the time I didn't know about the Marine Corps or anything. I didn't know much, but I knew back then that was just some part of my drive. And then as my parents were thinking, oh, he's gonna get out of it. He's gonna be good. He's gonna go to college. But I kept that same mindset all the way through. I signed up right when I was 18, so like around the same month. And then I left from there, from Houston, Texas, over here to San Diego for boot camp. Then SOI. My MOS was 0311, so infantry. A lot of fun. I got a lot of chance to travel around, deploy around, go to different ports, and train in different countries. But the reason what really drove me is that I knew that if I didn't, it would haunt me for the rest of my life. And I knew it was going to be really hard. I did my research before I went in, and I knew life was going to suck. But I really wanted it to, not just to get the experience, but to gain that ability to conform yourself and like adapt basically to any
Hmm.
circumstance. And you can pick that up in pretty much any branch, but I wanted to get it from the Marine Corps. Do it the as best as I can, the hardest way. Um, and so I finished up my 4 years and I got out. And instead of going back to Houston, I decided to pretty much move to San Diego by myself and
Oh,
was doing.
wait. We'll get to that. We'll get to that.
Oh, okay, yeah. I'm going ahead of myself. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So let's get to some career highlights. Like you were in Japan, you did two deployments. Like what really stuck out to you? What was some memorable, it could be funny, one experience that you really enjoyed?
For like during the deployments
Yeah,
or
sure.
or anything. The most memorable, I would say, stopping at Hong Kong. Everybody would say that that was the best Liberty port. Everyone had a lot of fun there. That we have some crazy memories from there, and just how kind of eye-opening it was to be there, actual in Hong Kong. Just because we didn't know
Was that
what to
your first
expect.
time overseas?
Pretty much because we stopped the first deployment was a Mu, so we stopped at Hawaii, and then we stopped at Korea to do some training, and then after
Okay.
that, yeah, it was our first Liberty port in another country. So, yeah, it was my first experience, just getting to travel around, drink with some friends, and just get to see things. It was really fun to be able to do that. Not many places you work at could ever give you that opportunity. So.
No. So did you deploy over to the Middle East at all?
No, no. So the Mu went around that area just because of where it's supposed to go. I mean, we did train in like UAE. We did go to Bahrain for like a little Libo port. Oman was really nice too. We also got to hit Malaysia and Singapore. So just around that general area. Some guys that we had on the ship went to Jordan, Djibouti. So they got to do some stuff, but it was just mostly a lot of training, a lot of repetition, and just kind of getting through the deployment. And then you get back, and your job now is just to train the new guys and get them ready. And so just the cycle continues. Um, Definitely a lot of fun, I'll tell you that.
Yeah. Did
Mhm.
you do a lot of leadership or gain a lot of leadership skills while you were in?
Definitely. So pretty much half of the time I've spent in, I was a team leader. Sometimes like as a squad leader, but I was kind of just like filling in. But my role was
Mm-hmm.
set as a team leader, and I loved it just because I wasn't too busy at the time, yet I still had the leadership skills to train a few guys, like three of your guys in your team. And so that really helped me a lot as far as like confidence and making decisions because people were depending on you at that time to make tough decisions.
Mm-hmm.
And being put in that spot at such a young age is so important for your development. Now that I'm 25, it's like I feel that like a lot of people say they're like, oh, I'm 25, but I don't feel like I'm 25 because not because of their age, but like their character, and they just don't think they're not in the mindset they would think that they would be in. And I think really that I'm either a little bit slightly ahead of of where I should be, or just right where I should be at all. So yeah, definitely helped me a lot to be put in those positions. It was hard and intimidating at first, but you get over that really quickly.
That's awesome. So, what was your reasoning for getting out?
I knew that I wanted to just be more on my own, like have more control, like start a business or start more than just one business, but start many. Uh, and in the Marine Corps, I couldn't imagine trying to run a business while I was still in. I know a lot of people do it,
Yeah.
but it would be way more unstable. I wouldn't have as much control and much say as to what happens around the company.
Mm-hmm.
So being out and doing it all on my own is was just something so appealing to me. And I knew that if I stayed in, it's just the same thing. You're doing it more. Maybe you gain rank, but you have more security as far as like staying in.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't get to go out and just to choose what you want and just go out there like solo, and no one's like really taking care of you. I think I really needed that, and that's why I moved here.
Yeah. So when you got out, did you have like a support system? Because you're from Texas and you're now in California. So what was that like? Did you have a lot of friends or?
Yeah, so my family obviously was not very happy about it because they all assumed that I was gonna go back home and move in back right after, but I was like, no, that's not gonna happen. I want to start going to school and I want to live on my own. I know that I won't be able to concentrate as much as if I was at home. It's a sad thing, but like I know the way I work is that if I need to be somewhere in a quiet room, not disturbed,
Mhm.
and I have
I'm the
everything in
same
front of me.
way.
Yeah, yeah. So you feel me on that? Like I had to have that, and just I felt that if I went back home, I would be going backwards. I wouldn't be doing improvements, and
Yeah.
uh, and I'm glad I did it. It was hard. It was really tough financially. Just planning it out. I had trouble getting an
Yeah.
apartment. It was rough, but
And it's expensive out there, you know? So,
yeah, yeah, super expensive. And I'm only gonna end up going somewhere more expensive, which is when I moved down to Berkeley to go to classes in person. So like after everything ends, I'll
hmm
move up there, and it's gonna just be way more expensive than it is in here. So
yeah.
another
But
transition coming up.
that's such a great school, Berkeley. I mean, you just hear that name and you're like, whoa, all right. So like what motivated you to get in there or like how did that go?
So my original plan was to go to San Diego State. I live right next to it. I could literally walk there and be there in 10 minutes. So that's why I kind of moved here. I was like, I'll just
That
start
would be
going to
nice.
San Diego. Yeah, that would be really nice. But my deans, I worked for them at the office doing the veteran, I forget what it's called, the work study program. So the whole time I was at my community college, I worked there. And when I was telling them I was applying to colleges, they said, you need to apply to as many as you can, and they told me like give Berkeley a try. Don't be afraid. And I was like, no, they're probably gonna say no because my GPA isn't high enough, but it was. But I just didn't see it that way, just because I felt that Berkeley was more pristine. But they said you got to do it, you got to try, and I did, and then they accepted me, and I was just shocked. And as soon as I got that acceptance, I knew right then and there, I was like, I have to go. I can't turn it down, even though it's going to be hard. All the
Yeah.
schools I applied to said yes. San Diego State, UC, UCSD, UC Irvine, UC Santa Ana. All those were like, yeah, you can start in the fall, which would be this semester. But
Wow.
Berkeley, yeah, Berkeley was like, you're deferred. So you applied for the fall, but you're going to only be allowed to start in the spring, which put me at 6 months being out of school, which is really hard because that was my income. And then with all the COVID stuff going on, it just made it much more difficult to even survive. But I got a job now, and I've been there for like 5, 6 weeks now, and I'm doing good again. But it was definitely rough to be in that position. It's almost over though.
Yeah, really. Gosh, I mean, and especially school being all online. I mean, I just graduated in May, so my last few months were online. I can't imagine doing.
Where did you graduate from?
So I went to St. Mary's College of Maryland. It's
Mm-hmm.
a smaller school out here. So I knew my professors by like first name. We were
Oh,
very close. There's like 10 people in each class. So it really sucked from going to that like personal relationship to online. So I can't imagine that.
oh
So
yeah.
um economics, I want to know, how'd you get into that? That's your major, right?
Yes, yes.
That's awesome.
Um,
I love economics.
I love economics too, and I like, okay, yeah, there is some boring sides to it. I get it. It's not a perfect subject. It has its dull moments, but at the same time, I'm really driven to markets. Like I also trade stocks and options.
Oh, nice.
Um, every now and then, I slow down a lot just because this year has been very volatile. It's been a little bit crazy, so. I'll trade a little bit, but I've always been driven by numbers and companies and their valuations and basically like speculating on what could happen, with the economy or with certain jobs. It could be on a micro level, on a macro level. Either way, it kind of grabs my attention. I'd also
Hmm.
like to learn a lot more about like global trade. That's a
Yeah.
that's I've tried to sign up for that class for Berkeley, but I wasn't allowed to because it needed a prerequisite. So kind of sad about that, but
Uh,
whatever. I'll get there eventually. So
yeah.
I love it, and it's a great major to have. It's eye-opening and really puts you to the test. See if you can
Hmm.
handle all those numbers and graphs and charts and everything.
Yeah. So do you want to go further, or like what do you want to do with your degree?
So this plan is going to be very challenging, but I've already kind of started going towards it. I really hope that I can become an actuary, and just to give an actuary.
What's that?
So yeah, a lot of people, everybody says that. They're all like, "What's that?" You don't need a degree, but you probably should have it because to do the exams required to become an actuary, you're gonna need to know like heavy calculus and all of that, basic probabilities because that's what it is. You're analyzing risk on any field. Like you can go in the financial sector, you can go into like car insurance, um, was it life insurance, anything
Mhm.
really with that involves risk and insurance. You're calculating the cost of it, and it's just basically heavy math, heavy probabilities, um, and each test that you take, you keep improving, and they'll give you a pay raise. So it's really you're taking tests all your life just to become a better actuary. You'd be
Wow.
going, yeah. So it's very heavy, but it it makes me feel like I'm bad at math, which a lot of people tell me like you're really good at it. But when I start trying to learn it, yeah, it's extremely difficult on a new level, and because of that, I want to know it and I want to do it. I've already started, studying a little bit, and just that little bit that I did, it opened my eyes a lot more as to how the world is and how it all works. It's just
Hmm.
I think it's gonna be very rewarding and secure. But if that doesn't work out, I mean, I don't know how I'm gonna be able to start taking my tests, study for that, and at the same time do full classes in Berkeley, and then hopefully still have a job.
Yeah, and
And the
the next
business.
and your business. So
Yeah.
what kind of fueled your entrepreneurship spirit? I think that's awesome.
Yes.
Also, tell us about Lucky Lifters for everyone that's joined.
Lucky Lifters is my baby company. I treat it like a baby. I feel like it is because, one day, at one point it was on a piece of paper. It was just sketches and plans and ideas. And a lot of the things that I tried to start before always end there. And
Hmm.
Lucky Lifters, like making apparel that's actually like really high quality
Hmm.
is something that I always wanted to give because I'd be at the gym and I'd see people like what they're wearing. I always wonder like why do they choose that over this or what makes them want to buy a certain product. And so I got into that, but at the very beginning, I was going to school full time and I had a job part time working at the dean's office. And then I was still bored. Like, I guess because I was fresh out, I still felt like my life wasn't filled enough. And so I wanted, like, I need something new. I always wanted to start my business. And I was like, what am I going to call it? What is it going to look like? What am I going to come out with? There's just endless questions, but I took it one at a time, and I gathered up some money. You really don't need too much to begin what you want to do, but I had a few thousand. I was like, okay, I'm gonna get a supplier. I'm gonna make the design. So I was sketching out like what I want. He showed me the kind of material that I would probably want. And as soon as he showed me it, like the regular short sleeve shirts I have, I was like, this is it. Like this is what people are gonna want to wear, and I know it because everybody that buys it from me, they're like, this is actually really good. I just, I
Hmm.
didn't know it because you're a small company. I don't know if I could trust you, and there's always that barrier of for small
Hmm.
businesses, trying to get that recognition. But as soon as they buy it, they'll come back and they're like, I want another one
Wow.
because yeah, it's great. So I was really happy that I was able to choose something that people really like. The next hard thing to do is to convince them that they do want it.
Hmm.
So I pretty much ran it all myself. I would set up booths. I would do the little bit of accounting, uh, email marketing, the SEO. I hired a marketing team at one time, then I fired them.
Oh,
um,
really?
yeah, they were like, I don't want to say it, but they were half-assing it basically,
Okay.
and I was paying them for it, and I didn't like that. So I'm taking the initiative to do it myself. There's just a lot to it. You're one guy and you're
Hmm.
running it all yourself, but at the same
You don't have a team;
time,
it's just you, right?
yeah, it's just me.
Oh,
I'll
that's
get from
impressive.
I'll get support from some friends like that all got out at the same time. Now they're starting their businesses or they're working out and they're like, hey, I got some friends that would wear your stuff and they'll help spread the word. So
That's
that
awesome.
really helped out. Hmm.
That's great. That's great. So, what advice would you give to because there's a lot of veterans who want to get out and like be entrepreneurs. They want to start their own small business. What's like the first piece of advice you would give someone starting out?
I would first say, because there was the things that scared me, but then obviously overcame it. This is what I hear a lot from people when they ask me, like, "Oh, well, why did you start?" They're more interested in like hearing what got me to overcome that fear of losing it all or whatever it is.
Hmm.
What I would
Yeah.
say is that for one, don't be afraid of like competition because they tell me, well, there's a lot of apparel brands out there. I'm like, yeah, I know that, but that
Hmm.
doesn't mean you can't start your own thing. That doesn't mean you won't succeed.
Like,
That there is enough room around for. It's just like I know it seems diluted, and it does become like, well, there's so many businesses out there. How am I going to compete? It can stress you out and make you not want to start anymore. But if you make it your own, don't try to copy anyone. Basically, just do it yourself.
yeah.
Make it your own and be confident with your decision to do it, and people will follow you on that. If you believe in your company, there's a very high likely chance people will believe in it as well. So don't have any fear as far as like how much competition is out there, who's ahead of you. Just don't worry about that. There is ways to overcome. Let's say for me, how do I overcome beating, like not beating, but Gymshark, all these Under Armour, Nike, Alpha Elite, all these big companies that are well established, they got millions of followers. Um, how do you go around that? Well, if you interact and act more on a personal level, that's something that they just cannot do. They are not made for that anymore.
No.
But if you're one guy and you have like a box of shirts and you have this just all personal stuff and you kind of just show people that you're more personal and
Mm-hmm.
more and you're basically like more helpful in a way, like you're gonna give them answers straight away. Then they're gonna go for you. You just have to believe it yourself. And just find different tactics. Like I'm still trying new things of how to get around competition. But
Mm-hmm.
one thing is that you never want to like treat it in like bad competition, because I see a bunch of other apparel brands and we just like link up and we're friends to each other. We'll support each other. So if you're starting your own, don't not be afraid to ask ones that are ahead of you for advice. They're not gonna push you away. They're not gonna tell you no. They kind of probably want to tell you. If anybody ever asks me, which I do, how do you start your brand? I want to start one too. I'll gladly tell them. I'm not afraid of like giving that out, because that's like it's greedy to kind of think like, oh no, I want more customers for me. If you act in a good way and you collaborate with the other brand, you can work something out and you both get more customers. It's just not, yeah, everyone thinks that like that customers are limited, which they are obviously, but they're also not, because they keep coming and they'll probably come back for more. And there's this customer knows this guy, and he'll tell that guy, and it just spreads. It's not like this endless stream of people are not just gonna stop buying shirts from businesses. It's like you can share it. It's out there. So don't be afraid of
Exactly.
that.
I think that's a great mindset to have, not worry about competition and just see the advantages you could get from helping someone out or just even collaborating.
Hmm.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. And another aspect of your brand that I was really drawn to when I was checking out your brand and your profile was Project Brother Light. I
Hmm.
think that's awesome, and I'd love for you to tell us all about it.
So Project Brother Light actually, in a way, saved me from going nuts because I got out of school. I was doing online classes for about 2 to 3 weeks towards the end of that
Mm-hmm.
semester. So, and I
In the
couldn't go to
spring,
work.
right?
Yeah, yeah. So I couldn't go home. I couldn't go to work. I was stuck here all the time, just either working out or um, running the business or just doing nothing. I felt like,
Yeah, we all were.
yeah, we were all pretty hurt. And
Mhm.
after school ended, it got a lot worse because now I felt like I had no purpose, and it just kind of drew down my confidence. So if anybody else is out there right now that is in that position where they're like they lost that confidence, to that drive,
Mhm.
I know you have to build this purpose for you to keep going, because that's what Project Brother Light did. Is it was July and I was writing down some notes of how I can start something new, and then I was thinking about, well, suicide. It's a problem, obviously, very big. It's very well known, and people are very happily to support things that go towards suicide awareness. So
Mhm.
I was thinking about, well, what can I do? And then I was like, what if I am able to incentivize people by a mass scale, which my goal is 500 shirts. I might have to adjust that just because of how the performance has been coming in. It's very interesting of what I found out about how incentives work. 'Cause that's the main thing I learned. Um, I
Why don't you break it down? Tell us what it is first, and then
okay, yeah.
we'll
So
go into the details.
Project Brotherlight is basically a suicide course that gives you that is basically summarized from the Suicide Prevention Resource Center website. I went on there and took the 4-hour courses. There's three of them. And so you'll
Hmm.
go through the slides, and so it's basically 12 hours of telling you about basic suicide awareness, facts, statistics, myths, anything that would be helpful. So I went through all those slides, I wrote down notes, I went to other websites to kind of like try to get some more philosophical ideas from like how does it occur and why. It's a very
Yeah,
hard question to answer. So I was like, well, I can't solve any of this, but I know that if I just hand over the information to other people and then they might be able to help their family and friends when they see something that is wrong with them. A lot of
hmm,
them don't know that they don't recognize the signs of
yeah,
suicide or they might know, but they don't want to say anything because they might feel too extreme. They don't want to say it. And so I was like, okay, I can fix that, like trying to show people the myths about suicide, the facts, the statistics, warning signs, and put it all in a compiled uh, PowerPoint slide that's not too long and not too short, but gives you enough information still. And then at the same time, after you're done with that, you would take a quiz that would basically quiz you on it. It's like 15 questions. The quiz is built not to see if you're smart or not. It's just to see if you did the course and if you paid attention. I didn't make it to
yeah.
be hard. I tell people like you can look through the slides and take the quiz. I don't care. Just I
Hmm.
want you to read all that knowledge and absorb it, and then you have a choice of getting a free shirt when if you pass the test, and if you fail it, you could take it again. It doesn't matter.
Wow,
Yeah,
awesome.
it's
It's a
I let
win-win.
yeah, it's a win-win. And so I was thinking like, well, a lot of people are gonna want free shirts. I mean, all they have to do is do this for like 20 minutes, and they get a free shirt instead of paying $25. And I was looking at my inventory, and that's one of the reasons. Like, okay, if I have 500 shirts and I can give 500 away to say people, all those people that took the course, and then they tell or they're able to get the shirt, and then they tie that knowledge to how they got it. Because they're going to always, I know it's the back of the mind, they're always going to remember how they got that shirt. And so when they wear it, when they work out, they put it on, they're going to be thinking of how they got it, how they earned it, and maybe, just maybe, they'll be able to use that information. Maybe one thing will stick out to them that they just can't forget, and they see somebody doing bad, and they're like, well, I remember I did this course, and I think I should at least talk to him, open up and have a little bit more courage. And so it was theoretical. I don't know if it was gonna work. Uh, I didn't expect any, like I don't get paid for anything of it. There's no real return except I wanted to build like a bunch of people that got my shirt. I'll have a very strong email list
Hmm.
that I can keep in contact with because I was working on email campaigns at the time, and I figured out that email campaigns do not work unless you have a strong leads.
Yeah. Oh, we got
And
some people interested in the chat here.
oh
They,
yeah,
they want to know directions on where they can find this course.
yeah. So you can go on www.luckylifters.com, but if you want to get the exact link to it, I can put it up here if anybody wants.
Yeah,
Let
throw
me
it in the
see.
chat
Yeah,
if you can.
I'll put the actual link towards the course, and so you can get directly on there. Yeah, I was really happy that I started it because I was really intimidated by it too, because it was something that I hadn't done before, and
Yeah, and you're also losing inventory. I mean,
yeah.
that's such a selfish thing to do. That's awesome.
And you know how I was saying, I was like, it saved me. It was like, well, because after I started it, I gained back that drive and that confidence to keep going because now I had things to solve, and it was all dependent on me to make it happen. Like, I don't know if it's gonna work, but I have a purpose to make it try. And so by that time, I was able to get up early and literally work on it all day and just sit there, and not I wouldn't get tired of it just because I wanted to keep going. So I do the courses and choose the information I want to pick out. I even contacted one of my old professors. I was like, "Hey, can you help me make the PowerPoint look nice?" And
Yeah.
he critiqued me and he told me this is what you need to do. And then I showed it to him again. He's like, this looks pretty good. You should release it out. Good luck." And then I was like, okay. And I launched it, and it was really cool to see that people were reaching out excitedly to get involved. There wasn't that many just because I feel that maybe they felt like it was a scam or something. They felt like it was too good to be
Yeah.
true. Like,
I mean,
why?
people aren't used to someone's,
Yeah.
like getting a free shirt by educating themselves. So that is a unique concept for people.
Yeah, I even tried to reach out to Gary Vee. A lot of times I would text him because he gives out his phone number. I would text him, send him emails, DMs, and because he was saying like, oh, if your video goes on Good Morning America, if we pick you. And so I was like,
Yeah.
I really need to do this so that word gets out and I could get people doing the course.
Hmm.
And but I didn't get picked just because they had a very extreme limited time. They were just running through it. It wasn't what I thought it was, but whatever. He still shared my video, so I thought that was pretty cool. Like,
That's
it's
awesome.
yeah, that
Wait,
helped
who
me.
was it again? Who
The
was,
the oh, Gary Vee.
who is that?
Gary Vee is this angry. No, he's not angry. He's like this entrepreneur that gives such great advice. If you have time, you'll look him up, and you'll see a lot of his talks, and he'll give a lot of advice for people that want to start a business, do their own thing, and anything about their life too. He's helped me a lot, and eventually I stopped watching his videos and started doing it. Started acting on it. He's kind of a wake up call. He'll tell you in your face, he'll cuss at you and be like, "You need to stop being lazy," and but in a nice way. Like in a way
Yeah,
you're intrigued by. So he was an
you
influence
need
on me.
someone like that.
Yes, yeah, you definitely do. And even though I didn't know him personally, it
A
was
lot of people in the chat know him. They're like, yeah, he's a mastermind. Some
yeah, he is. Yeah, I bow to him. Um, I really hope one day that I get to talk to him about the course thing, but I mean, who
Yeah, what a
knows?
great connection. How did you get connected with him?
Well, it was just like, oh, send in your videos and tag uh, Gary V on GMA. And so I made mine, and I was pretty happy. After he shared it, it had like 2,000 views. So I was like,
Wow,
oh, this is good. But I didn't get
that's
picked.
great.
The people, yeah, and it just happens. I didn't really expect it, but I really tried, and that's what I'm happy about.
Hmm.
Um,
You just gotta
so
ask.
yeah, you have to ask. So that's another little bit more of advice is just
Hmm.
don't be afraid to ask. Not asking can cost you a lot of money, believe it
And
or
I
not.
feel like in the military, we're just taught not to ask, not to reach
Yep.
out, not to be a burden.
Yeah,
And then
do the
we get to the
opposite.
real world. Exactly. Yeah, that's such a great point.
Yeah, do the opposite, and if people turn you down, like that's on them. Really, you can go to anyone else and do the same thing. Don't be stuck on one person giving you advice. If it's not Gary Vee, it's somebody else, and that's fine.
Hmm.
But don't be afraid to ask about just how things work. I mean, whatever it takes. Like, don't try to move too fast without knowing what you're going to end up doing, or you're blindsided because you didn't ask things. That could affect you really bad.
Exactly. So we got a question. What's your favorite part of the Civ Div?
My favorite part. Oh, I think that I get to put my hands in my pocket again because I
Ah,
was not allowed.
it's so corny.
Yeah, I think that's because I love doing that, and we weren't allowed to do that. Now I can. I have a little bit more. I could eat and walk at the same time. I miss doing
Yeah,
that. I got a busy
that's
schedule. I
great.
can't just sit down and eat all the time.
How long? You've only been out for like a year, right?
I've been out for 2 years now.
Two
Was it?
years?
Yeah,
Yeah.
2 years.
I feel like that first year you get those like, oh shit, wait, I'm not supposed to do this. Oh wait, nobody cares anymore. It's like
Yeah, I definitely do. And sometimes I'll
feeling.
still get it. Um, some people that I
Oh,
like,
someone likes the goatee.
oh, thanks. It's very thin though.
She said that should be your favorite part of getting out.
If I had a beard, if I could grow a beard effectively, then yeah, that would be my favorite part. But the goatee is very thin. I never shave it or anything. It's like this forever, so it's just,
Really?
yeah, it's what I got.
It's just meant to be. Go with it.
I think so, yeah.
Exactly. Well, we are coming up on our time here. Is there anything else you want to say, you want to share?
Yeah, if you guys are interested in doing that course, feel free to like hit me up, DM me, email, whatever it is. I'll help you and guide you. If you have any questions, don't be afraid to ask. Because it could lead to a free shirt if you just tell me. Again, if anyone here is new on it, um, you can get as many tries as you want. So if I send you back your results and you failed, you can try it again. Um, or oh, somebody asked, where can I order a shirt? Oh, luckylifters.com /shop. You have options of short sleeves, tank tops, and I have only small silkies. The rest of the sizes of the silkies are gone already. They won't be coming back. So I have plenty of shirts, plenty of tank tops, all kinds of sizes. I know that you guys would really love it. And if you don't want to pay for it, you can still do the course. I'll go through you might have to wait a little bit longer because I have to go through the list and go through I have to make a coupon and all of that. So, yeah, luckylifters.com. My stuff is there. If you guys want to buy. Thank God, no more silkies. Yeah, okay.
Those are like your best sellers.
Yeah, it was a big
Yeah.
hit. A lot of people were really interested in that.
So, when are you gonna make some more like female-friendly clothing, or is it all kind of gender neutral?
So the tank tops are unisex.
Okay.
So I'll still have women order the short sleeve just because they're like, oh, I'm gonna wear it to bed because it feels really soft. And I'm like, cool, you do whatever you want with it. And but they'll get the tank tops usually or the silkies. The silkies are like, well, they're silkies, so you know, they
Yeah,
might be men's, but
perfect for
whatever.
bedtime.
Yeah. So I want to come out with more, obviously, but there's just these other projects I'm doing. I'm trying to start another line of clothing, but it's kind of gonna be like a subline
Okay.
for Lucky Lifters, and then I'm trying to build a
Is that gonna be
program.
like more streetwear, or what's this second line?
It's gonna be more towards. It's gonna help towards. I want to be able to take some of the funds and donate it to stop child trafficking. I got to look into that more, but I do want to give a big portion to each cell for that. I think it's a problem that is very horrific, but it doesn't give the attention like if it is. So I
Hmm.
hope that in a way clothing inspires people, and if any, if I do the marketing strategies, and I hope that people will be inspired to not just buy the products but take action and donate themselves or get involved. So yeah,
Absolutely.
I'm doing that, and then I'm also trying to build a program that that would basically make you confident in choosing the shirt size that you are. Um,
Oh,
I I've seen it done, and I know that it's out there, but it's not the way that I want it. And so from scratch, I'm trying to, get the code together and then trying to make the program look the way I want it to. I'm a little
hmm.
behind, but I
What
think it's
would
very,
that
what's
other
that?
people? What would you include that other people aren't doing?
I want it to be way more easier to use, faster, because those things that they have, either they're not accurate or they ask for too much information that people don't know at the time. They don't have that. Like
Like
they'll ask them,
measurements and
yeah,
whatnot.
yeah, measurements of their chest. I'm like, you need to be able to create something that will accurately assume their size of their chest based on their, let's say, correlation to their waist size. Everybody knows their waist size. And if you can get that, you can transfer it to chest size in a way. It's really hard to figure out, but if I can
Yeah,
do it, it would be great. And for my business, like for Lucky Lifters, I want it on there. People like find out their size in 30 seconds. They'll be confident enough to choose it. And then I want to be able to sell that program to businesses like mine so that they can use it and they kind of stay in the same level. Like I want to be able to spread this program around so we can all benefit from the fact that these large companies have that's those kinds of programs, but they're
hmm.
very expensive. These small businesses cannot afford it. I've looked up the price quotes and it's just way too expensive. So I want to make it affordable for small businesses, and I want to make it affordable for me as well. But yeah, it's gonna take a lot of work.
Definitely. But it sounds like you're dedicated and you're on track. You're gonna do it.
I
Um,
really,
so everything. So if we go to your Instagram profile, which I'm gonna tag in this video for anyone who's watching it on the repeat or whatever, they'll go to your Instagram. We could click and go right to your website, right?
yes. The link is right
Awesome.
there in the description. Um, and you can also click the shop button just to look around the products. And oh, another thing, really important. So the course, you can do it on a phone, but I would strongly recommend that you don't. Do it on a desktop, a
Oh, really?
laptop. Yeah, because it comes out as a PowerPoint and it's just not going to look right. And then you got to take the quiz and it's going to come out ugly. I've tried to make it work for mobile. And it's I don't the one thing you can do actually too. One of my saved stories is the course. So on the
Oh, wow.
if you go on my highlights, you'll see suicide course. You can see all the slides there if you want to, and then take the quiz on the laptop, and then that would be perfectly fine.
Perfect. That's awesome.
Hmm.
Um, Thank you, Missy. She's reminding me. So in the group, we're doing a giveaway, and the code word that who's ever tuning in, they're going to comment under Missy's post in the group in the Millennial Veteran, and the code word is boot. So for everyone watching, go ahead, go and comment boot under that post, and you'll be entered in the giveaway. So something
That's
fun we like to do. Maybe we could do a collab and do a giveaway in the group with
yeah,
Lucky Lifters, and we could kind of promote this awesome course you have going. I'd love to do that.
that'd be great. Yeah, so down.
Awesome. Well, Alan, thank you so much for being here. You have such a good heart. You're such an awesome person. I'm
Thank you.
glad we got to connect
Yes, me too.
and really talk about all the great things you're doing. Yeah, so I hope you have a great night, and I'll definitely have to have you back on because this is awesome. I mean, I can't believe almost an hour went by.
Right? That was really fast, honestly.
It
I feel like I
was.
just got back from work. I felt like I just got here.
Yeah, definitely. If you are asking which post, I'm gonna tag you, Ariana. I'm gonna tag you in it. But it is on the Millennial Veterans Facebook group. If you guys aren't in it, make sure you join. We got lots of stuff going on. I mean, it's a lot of fun. So, all right. Thanks, Alan. You have a great night. I'm gonna go grab another beer and probably head to bed because it's
It's
10
late.
o'clock here, East Coast. You know.
My night's just getting started.
Yeah, it really is.
Yes.
All right, you take care.
You too. Thank you.
Everyone, thank you so much for joining. There we go. Okay, yeah, everyone, thank you so much for joining. I hope you enjoyed. Go follow Alan at Lucky Lifters. He's got so much awesome things going on. So thank you all for being here. All right. Bye, everyone.
Peace.